These are some pumpkin slices I had left over. I am dehydrating pumpkin slices in my dehydrator, and these didn't fit. So I don't want them to go to waste. I Googled a couple recipes real quick, and I found one I'm gonna give a try. It is called Candied Pumpkin Slices from Martha Stewart. So of course I'm gonna have to change the recipe slightly because it's 1.5 pound pumpkins is what she said. I don't have that much. 3 cups sugar. I definitely won't need 3 cups sugar. Zest of 2 limes cut into very thin strips. I don't have fresh limes, but I do have lime juice, so I am just going to use lime juice. So it says, cut the pumpkins into wedges about 3 to 4 inches wide. Cut across wedges to form slices about 1 1/4 inch wide. So I'm just going to cut these into thinner slices. Combine 2 cups sugar, lemon juice, and zest in a medium bowl. Add pumpkin pieces, stir until we're well coated, and cover with plastic. Refrigerate overnight. So since I don't have tons of pumpkin, I'm just gonna do 1 cup of sugar. It looks like you don't use water, so basically it's just looks like you use enough sugar to coat the pieces. And then in the morning, we will do the next couple steps. So let me get these sliced thinner, and then we will coat it with sugar and lemon juice. And why does it say limes, but then she says lemon? I'm assuming that's just a typo because she doesn't say lemon up here. Typo. So just some lemon juice, which I have both lemon and lime juice. So I have the pumpkin sliced into thinner slices. I'm gonna add 1 cup of sugar and 1 tablespoon of lime juice. I have stirred until everything looks well coated. Now I'm gonna cover it with plastic and stick it in the fridge overnight. It is the next morning, and as you can see, all that sugar turned into syrup. And so I just wanted to point out real quick, I got this from Martha Stewart's website. I love Martha Stewart, but the website needs a new editor. Since I only had like 1.5 cups of this pumpkin, I used just 1 cup of sugar. So when you look at the ingredients, it says 3 cups of sugar right here. But when you read step 2, it says combine 2 cups of sugar, the lemon juice, which of course it says lime over here, and stir till well coated, put it in the fridge. That's what we did. And it never mentions sugar again. So they're telling you 2 cups here, 3 cups here, lime here, lemon here. Anyway, not the best recipe direction, but we understand the main concept. I used a lime juice and I used 1 cup sugar. So now we're gonna go to step 3. Transfer mixture to a medium heavy bottom saucepan. Bring to a simmer over medium heat. Okay, the reason they say heavy bottomed saucepan is because when you use thin saucepans, your items can scorch easier. So you want a good heavy duty pan. I just have this pan I've had forever. As you can see, it's well loved, but it hardly ever burns. That's the pan I'm using. So anyway, we are going to, basically you're gonna bring it, let's see, reduce heat to medium low, cook, stirring occasionally until pumpkin is translucent and sugar has formed a light amber color. But I would say over medium heat, I'm gonna simmer it. Reduce heat to medium low, exactly. It doesn't tell you how long to cook it on the medium heat. I'm assuming until it starts to boil. That's usually how that stuff works. You bring it to a boil and then you put it down low to let it simmer. The thing is, this is sugar, so you kind of have to stir it a lot. Otherwise it is gonna stick and scorch on the bottom of the pan. So this is definitely an item you really don't wanna walk away from. So let's get it started. All right, it's boiling nicely. I have an electric stove. I cooked it at number 6 for about 5 minutes. It took 5 minutes for it to come up to bubbling. And now I'm just gonna stir it for a little bit and lower it down to a number 2. That's a very low simmer because again, this is sugar. I don't want it to burn. And so then I'm just gonna let it, simmer for about an hour and keep checking until it gets to that translucent stage. which I really don't know what that's gonna look like because I've never done this before, but see, it smells really good. All right, the pumpkin has been cooking for about 50 minutes now. The recipe says like an hour to an hour 15. It also had twice the amount of pumpkin. As you can see, a lot of it is translucent. Definitely, I can understand what they meant, but not every single piece. The problem is, as you can see, the majority of my moisture has evaporated. When I first started, there was like a 1/4 inch of sugar water in it, and it just like, you know, made it boiling easier. At this point, it's almost all gone, so if I like walk away, it's probably gonna scorch and stick to the bottom of the pan. So I think I'm just gonna stir it like this and watch it for a couple more minutes and then take it off the pan. Like, it looks like 95% of the pieces are translucent. Probably just like the thicker pieces aren't quite there yet. But if I wait too long, it's gonna start burning. And then over here, I have a baking sheet lined with parchment paper and then my drip tray. And so the next step is to take a slotted spoon to drain out the sugar and put it on this drip tray to air dry for the next 12 hours. And see, it's bubbling nicely. I just don't want to burn it. It's technically been 55 minutes. And so the last 40 of the minutes I've had on number 2 on my electric stove, if you're using an electric stove. And it's still been bubbling the whole time. And then I've just been stirring it every 5 minutes. So I'm just surprised by how much of the sugar moisture, it's either evaporated or got sucked into the pumpkin pieces. I don't know. I'm assuming when we put the sugar in last night and left it in the fridge, it just totally sucked the water out of the pumpkin. And that's why it was a nice sugar water this morning. All right, let me find my slotted spoon and I am gonna start draining these pieces onto the drip tray. Also, if you were wondering what's to the right and why you heard my stove clicking earlier, I had the oven on. These are the pumpkin seeds. I roasted them. I never let pumpkin seeds go to waste. So I have a separate video how to roast pumpkin seeds. It's pretty easy. A little oil, a little salt, stick in the oven, 15 minutes. They turn out perfect. That did not work quite as planned. My pumpkin slices are a little too small, or my drip pan is a little too big. So half the pieces fell through the mesh. I'm not gonna worry about it too much. I'm glad I put the parchment paper down. So I'm assuming the reason that you want it on the drip paper is for the, you know, X sugar to drip off. I don't feel like I had tons of extra moisture, and you just want them to dry. So I don't know. I'm just gonna leave it as it is because they fell through. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah, like I said, there's like barely any moisture, any sugar water left. And also, if you've never worked with sugar water, immediately put this into your sink with hot sudsy water and wash it. Don't let it harden, because if it hardens, it's next to impossible to remove. I just tasted a piece just to see what it was like so far, and it still tastes like pumpkin. It's like a little chewy piece of pumpkin with a slight taste of sugar. So it's pretty interesting. We'll see what it's like when it hardens. This is the candied pumpkin. I let it dry for about 14 hours. Some parts aren't sticky at all, but some are still a little sticky. Not for sure exactly how they're supposed to end up because the directions weren't that clear, but they taste amazing. It's just like it tastes like pumpkin, and it tastes like a little sugary dessert. So how I'm gonna use them is accents for like on top of a cupcake. Put a couple of these on, maybe like accent the top of some pumpkin bread, accent the top of some pumpkin pie, just all kinds of pumpkin desserts. Just like a little couple pieces stuck on top would look so cute. and they taste so good. And you can also just snack on them when you want. It's like kind of like eating a jelly bean. It's kind of like eating a pumpkin jelly bean. I'm eating it as we talk. I might not have any left for accents. As you can see, this bowl, like, I've ate a lot throughout the day. There was a lot more on that cookie sheet, if you remember that cookie sheet. Every time I walk by, I taste one to taste test it, to see how far it's been drying out. And they're so good. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna go with it's like eating pumpkin jelly beans.